still a bit stupid to have like that boombox here. You know, I love that boombox. It sounds great, but it's too big to take, so that's gonna have to go.
One of the more difficult things I've had to deal with when moving to the States is trying to actually decide what to take and what to keep. I mean, how does one go about getting rid of 95% of the stuff they own? Well, in this video, I'm going to be showing exactly how I'm doing just that. I'm going to be going through different options of shipping stuff over there and also the psychological aspects of how I'm dealing with parting with stuff versus deciding what to take with me. What if you really just can't part with anything? Well, if that's the case, the method you might want to use is a shipping container. That pretty much allows you to take the entire house with you. So these come from around 20 foot up to 40 foot. And a 20-foot shipping container will fit pretty much the contents of a 2-bedroom house in it. And a 40-foot to take it all the way up to a 4-bedroom house. So if you go in this method, you really don't have to filter anything out. Well, with that being said, it's not the method I would recommend, primarily for a few reasons. The first one is, it is the most expensive. And I'll get to the exact cost in a minute, but you're going to be looking at stuff not just for the container, but you're just going to have like door-to-door shipping costs. You're going to have import duty costs, port fees. You're going to have insurance, as well as the logistical nightmare of getting that stuff delivered from here, from the UK, all the way to the States. Now, let me break that down a little bit further. Now, when I talk about getting the logistics of stuff here to the States, firstly, we'll talk about the volume of stuff involved. Now, a container, like I said, it's a house full of things. So we're not throwing that stuff into a single vehicle. It's going to take multiple trips. So actually taking all the stuff to a port is probably not going to be a viable option. So realistically, you're going to need a door-to-door service. So a container is going to be picked up from a residential address or a business address and delivered to a specified address in the US. So that adds additional cost to begin with. Secondly, every single item in that container has to be itemized. Like every single thing, down to the amount of underwear you're taking. Every single piece of underwear has got to be the name, the brands, what it is, how many pencils in a pencil case. That's the level of detail we're talking. So it's very easy to miss something off there or not do something right. The amount of stuff you have to get through is quite significant. And if you don't do that, you may be facing additional delays and also additional costs or fines that could be incurred. In terms of the time scale of this, you're looking about 6 to 8 weeks to get that shipping container shipped. That would typically be from the UK to somewhere like a port like Tampa. So that's the kind of time scale you're looking at. Cost-wise, we're looking from around £4,000 for a 20-foot container, all the way up to about £8,000 for a big 40-foot shipping container. So it's not a cheap one, but you might be able to get that to work if it means you don't have to rebuy everything when you're getting over there. Well, personally, I don't like the idea of getting over there, lots of things to think about, and then you've got an entire shipping container's worth of stuff you need to sort out and place. Especially, you might not even have permanent accommodation yet. You might be moving from place to place. You might have this problem a few times over by having too much stuff, and you really wish you didn't do in the long run.
My Pentium 3 laptop from the year 2000. Like, no joke, from the year 2000.
Wow.
It's, like, I don't need that. That's just the confusing nerd of me just saying that.
I know.
I want something to play around with that's nostalgic and reminds me. I mean, that's easier to take than the boombox, no doubt about it, you know, it's a laptop.
For me, it has no significance.
I'm taking floppy disks.
What?
Or for the laptop.
For the vast majority of you out there, taking an entire container probably, you know, is not going to be the solution for you, unless you have really large sentimental items you want to take. For the majority of us, what if you want to get rid of 95% of your things and take the remaining 5%? Well, I've got a couple of options for you which might suit you. And one I do think is much better than the other, but we'll start off with the one I don't like as much, and that is taking a pallet, but does have one advantage which I'll get to in a second. Now, a pallet, the reason I don't like it, firstly, it has much of the same stipulations that a container has because it's classed as a less than container load shipment. So it means it is going in a container just with other people's stuff as well. What that means is you're going to have insurance, port fees, customs clearance, all that type of stuff. Logistically, though, it's a little bit easier. Whilst you do have to itemize everything, just the vastly reduced quantity of items makes it a little bit easier to handle. Secondly, because it's a pallet and not a container, everything will probably fit in one vehicle. So if you've got a van or a pickup truck, that amount of stuff, the box is broken down, will probably fit in a pallet in one of those vehicles without any issues. Now, here's the reason I don't like it. Firstly, it's about £1,000 to £1,200 to get that shipped. That's probably a door-to-port service. So that's going to come from a residential address in the UK or business address, delivered to the port. In my quotes, they were for Tampa. And then I would have to pick it up from Tampa, let's say in a pickup truck, and I can take it back to where we're going to be living, near Orlando. So that's first thing in mind, is that's a little bit more work. Secondly, let's say the cost is relatively expensive, how much you're taking, and it's going to take up to 8 weeks. It's just as slow as taking a container. And if you don't make sure it's right, you're going to have the same fees, restrictions, delays that could be imposed on it. That's typically why I don't like the pallet idea, but it does have one advantage, and that is weight. You can take about 500 kilograms on a pallet. And if you got one big item that doesn't fit in a box like this, that might be the reason like you'd want to do it. Like, I know no one's going to take it, but imagine taking a fridge. If you had an item as big and as heavy as that, a pallet might be the type of thing you'd want to use to take an item like that size over. With that in mind, most of us aren't taking items that big, which brings me on to the second option if you only want to take 5% of your stuff, and that is taking them in boxes like these. Now, originally, I was going to put these on a pallet, but instead, believe it or not, it's cheaper to ship these by air. That's right, it's like actually breaking them into smaller loads and shipping them through like DHL or UPS is significantly cheaper. We're talking half the amount, guys, that to get these stuff in these boxes over. So here's the stipulations. We will look like UPS ones. One of these boxes by UPS with a maximum weight of 20 kilograms is about £80, a little bit, I think at 83, to get that door to door. That's tracked, that's insured, that's like straight from one place to another. Coupling the cost of actually buying one of these boxes for £20, you're looking at £100 all in. About 8 of these boxes is what you would stick on a pallet. So even at that kind of volume, you're looking at £800. It's a significant saving over what a pallet would cost. But here's where it gets better. If you actually just put both of them together with UPS, this now is not a very large parcel. This is an oversized parcel. So the cost goes from £80 to about £120, but that actually includes both of them. So now you're looking around £60 per box to ship it. And that's like super economical. And you're allowed up to 70 kilograms combined. So I don't think most of us realistically are going to be taking more than 70 kilos. That's about the weight of me, just for reference. So, you know, if you really can't lift this up, or if you can lift it, then you're probably well within the weight limits. Now, I'm going to link to these boxes on eBay or Amazon. They are about £20 each, really good value, really strong, sturdy, got lots of reinforcements. So if you look underneath, like lots of placing and all that, so they should stand up pretty well to being shipped from one side of the world to the other. And also, if you do buy them off Amazon in twos, it comes in a perfect size cardboard box. We can literally just drop 2 of these boxes into, just to give a little bit more protection when you're shipping this as well, which I really like. So very nice, quick, easy, cheap, convenient way. It's going to take about 3 to 5 business days to get this door to door. To me, to most of us, this one's a sweet spot. Okay, I just want to give you a quick update about those prices I've just told you, because as you can guess, things have changed. So I'm filming this now, well, I filmed on a Saturday. This is now being edited on a Thursday. And when I checked the Saturday, the prices were about £120, like I've been saying. We triple checked them, me and Leisan. We firstly checked through ChatGPT, which I know is not the most reliable source, but we went further into this. We went onto UPS's website, put the exact dimensions and weight in. We even went on a parcel broker website, and we got the same price 3 times over. I've come to do it today, and we're at like £180 to send the same parcel. So it's gone up like an extra 50% this week. Now, I don't know whether that's because of simply the day of the week is perhaps just doing it on a weekend cheaper than a weekday. I don't know. Now, the reason I'm saying this is really to be transparent, not to bullshit you, and just to say that things change. This is a real world problem that we've ran into. This is what this channel is about. You may be lucky, you might get less than 120, you might have to pay more. We're keeping our fingers crossed that it's going to be cheaper than 180. What I will do, I'm going to leave a pinned comment in the comment section below. I'll let you know what it gets to this weekend. Hopefully it's going to go back down to 120ish, so that might give us an indication. but I'll keep an update in the pinned comment of the prices and what they reflect. Just for reference, that £180, that was for an oversized parcel. So 2 of those plastic containers stacked on top of each other with a big cardboard box around them. That's the price brackets we're looking at. If you're going for one of those containers, that hasn't seemed to have gone up as much. So that's kind of like the ballpark where you're looking. Overall, I would say it's still a very reasonable option still, even at £200 for one of those very large parcels, because it's still actually quite a bit cheaper than sending it by sea on a pallet, and it's quicker, it's tracked, it's insured. So I would still say it's preferable to send it this way, even if the price is higher. It's just not quite as good value at the moment.
The ones.
Yeah. Don't remember the name of this character.
Tommy Bassetti. We're moving to Florida. Tommy Bassetti's got to come with us.
Not something you can find in a shop.
So etc. Also teaming in the end.
Yes.
All the places.
Well, I can hear some of you saying that maybe I don't need this much stuff. What if I'm not a 5%er and I can just get away with 1 to 2% of my belongings? Can I take this much with me on the plane and get away with it and start a new life in the States? And the answer is absolutely. My friend Alan did just that, actually. He didn't bother taking all the silly stuff with us like I'm doing. He actually just took what was allowed on the plane. Each family member had 1 suitcase and the carry-on luggage, and that's how they started. He was just ruthless with everything that he sold and took the bare minimum and started again. Now, this is an interesting option because, of course, even if you're shipping this stuff away, you still have this option available to you, and you can actually take quite a lot with you. I mean, the premium economy tickets of Virgin Atlantic will allow this much luggage to be taken for 1 person. So that's quite a generous amount you can take. Let me walk you through it. So firstly, whether you're on Virgin Atlantic or British Airways, the luggage allowance is very, very similar, as is the price for adding additional bags. I'll leave a screenshot on here and maybe links in the description if you want to check it out yourself for the exact luggage. First thing going allowed is a small carry-on. This can go under your seat or something, so you can get an okay amount of stuff in here. That's going to be just a small bag, so something like that I can take on the plane as kind of something that don't even bat an eyelid to. So we've got that. The main carry-on luggage you've got is something like this, which is going to be allowed up to about this size. Again, decent size amount of stuff you can get in there. So even in there, all your valuable stuff's going to be in there that you need on you, the immediate stuff, because it's not going to get lost. It's not going to get thrown around and broken. So that's included in all ticket prices, both these 2 bags here. So no issues whatsoever with them. Then it moves on to the main hold luggage, what's going in the cargo hold of the plane, or you might want to call it drop-off luggage. And anything except the, I think it's economy light with Virgin Atlantic, at least has one of these bags allocated to it of 23 kilograms. And actually, they allow a bigger bag than this. This one's quite small by the standards that are allowed. So you can take a much bigger volume bag. Now, what I really like the idea of is not only do you get this in most ticket prices just to take alone, but you can add an additional bag for around 60 to 80 pounds. So I could just add this second bag to it for not much more money, take it directly with me to the States, and that's a lot of luggage we're taking. However, if you are going for one of the nicer tickets on the plane, especially first class, you can allow 2 32 kilogram bags, that would be included. However, if even you go in with premium economy on Virgin Atlantic, you allow 2 of these bags in your ticket price, plus this, plus that. That is a lot of storage for 1 person to take in one go with them for like pretty much virtually no cost. So when me and Leisan can take this much each, that's going to be quite a lot we can even just get started with in the first week or 2 while waiting for the less important stuff to arrive. With all our minds, that's why it's worth maybe considering when you're looking at prices that the premium economy or business, whatever they call it, you know, that kind of tier, it's not first class, but better than economy, might be worth actually buying if the tickets are much more expensive, because otherwise you're going to be splurging £80 extra for a second bag when it's included in the better ticket price anyway. So have a look at that. What I will be making as well is a video about trying to actually get free tickets to the States, because I've been doing pretty well with that over the last couple of years, just using like airline points and such. If you want to know about that stuff, let me know in the comment section below, because I will do a full video on that and how I pretty much last year got the premium economy flights for like £150 returns to the States. So really, very good savings to be made if you're going to be making these frequent trips across the Atlantic. Now, with all that in mind, we've talked about the different options of what we can do to actually move to the States. Second part of this video is now talking about the psychology of deciding what to filter down, because there is so much stuff trying to get rid of and some stuff you're going to get very, very attached to. So let's go and sit down over there in the shade, and me and Leisan will talk to you about what we've actually done in order to decide what we're going to pass with and what we're going to keep.
So like these are definitely coming, like my granddad's watch is there, so that's
Jamie?
might not really be worth much value wise, but to me it's worth everything, if you know what I mean.
It's nice to watch.
I like it, it's really nice. Like, I mean, I don't know like much on eBay, but like he wore that every single day. When I remember him wearing it, so
Yeah.
like that type of stuff's coming with me.
Well, here we are. We're joined by Leisan again as usual. So in this second part, we're going to be talking about the psychology of moving instead. Because it's one thing, isn't it, about trying to find the shipping options, but then deciding actually how much you need to take in the process of it.
I know when you're thinking about how to do it, it's very theoretical. Like you already know what to take. You already made all the decisions on what to get rid of and what to take with you. But actually the thinking process is quite emotional. And that's a big part of this whole process.
Absolutely. I mean, there's so much stuff you get attached to, and then you obviously have stuff in between. You're like, oh, is it worth taking that? Well, some stuff's categorically straight away just out the window. We're not taking it. So I wanted to really talk about and drill down into what process do we go through in our minds to actually justify or be able to part of these stuff that's quite emotional or valuable to us.
I know that it's definitely much more emotional to you because you've lived in this house for much longer. I don't have many things apart from my clothes, maybe, and some technology like laptops. But apart from that, a lot of it is things that you have. And will
That's
you?
like 7.5 out of 8 boxes of mine.
Yes.
So with all that being in mind, because that's the difference between like Leisan's upbringing, or let's say ahead where she's lived her life for the last 10, 15 years compared to mine. Like I live a few houses down from my parents, so this is like my home territory. I've never done anything different to this, and you've like lived all over the world, and I've like where have you lived? What's the
I've lived in different parts of Asia. I lived in Cambodia, Vietnam. I also lived in Turkey and here in England before when I came here to study. So I'm pretty sure that most of the time, everything I had, it had to fit into a suitcase. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't take anything extra. That's why I believe now I piled up a bit more things because I've been here for 2 years. But still, I wouldn't be surprised if I could put everything into one of those bags.
Yeah, there's no chance that's happening for me. So first thing we've got in front of us here is a sticker system, haven't we? So what what we found was a good way of doing it is getting one of these like little sticky pads like this, you know, the post-it notes, and giving it a number was like 1, 2, or 3.
Yeah, it was very good. You know, the reason why I think it was good, so yeah, we sorted it like number 1 was top priority, sentimental things that we couldn't replace.
So, just because you can't see off the camera. For example, a number 1 item here is my granddad's watch, which is kind of priceless to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. So we're definitely taking this.
Yeah.
Whereas things that are categorized as number 2, we are
number
thinking.
2 is not as sentimental, or might not even have sentiment. For example, I'm just holding a mini PC here, which has no sentiments, but the space it takes up and the practical uses to have when I'm there might be seriously worth considering taking, because the value of what's still in it is, I think, offset, you know, compared to its weight and all that. So that's why it's a number 2 item for me.
Yeah.
I'll take it if I can.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then finally, we've got number 3, which is just like a less serious version, number 2, I would say. So as stupid as it sounds, I just picked some random items up, the closest ones to me. Number 3 is a USB DVD drive, out of all the things. But, you know, when we're taking those bigger containers, the boxes, that's the kind of thing that can go in there. It's small. It's still cost effective to take it. I'm really not going to care if I don't take it, though, because I can just replace it when I move there anyway for another $10 or $15. So that is like how we did it. And then we just kind of filtered it, didn't we?
I know. I think it's a good idea to start this process as soon as you can, as soon as you know that you will be moving. Create like 3 boxes with 1, 2, and 3 and
Yeah.
keep putting things in there. Because to be honest, as time goes, you will, I'm pretty sure that you will reconsider those things. Yeah, they will either end up not being taken or the other way around. You actually see that something in box number 3 gets used a lot and
Yeah.
you will want to take it.
I think what you're going to find is like when you start packing, obviously all your priority 1 items are going to end up going in, hopefully your priority 2, and then some of your priority 3s will be end up taken in the boxes. We just have 3 small cardboard boxes and then put stuff in as you went around the house and then offload them into nicer boxes later on. But that was just like the filtration of what we did. And then even go through the boxes again. Once you put them in containers, just keep doing the same filtering time and time again. You'll find stuff really that at the time you thought, I don't want to get rid of this. And then later you find like, I don't mind getting rid of it. It was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which brings me on to getting rid of stuff. Actually getting rid of it. Because, well, do you want to?
I think the biggest things we got rid of, first thing, is some furniture that we don't need and people moving into the house don't need either.
Yeah, that stuff kind of easy to go, isn't it? But there is stuff that you do actually get attached to that you want to get rid of. They're the ones that are the most difficult to part with, really. But you know what? Here's the thing I found about it. After it's gone, 99% of that stuff I didn't want to part with, which I thought was nice or meant something to me, I forgot about it. You know, it's gone out of my mind. I didn't really care. As soon as it got posted in the post office, it's gone. And I realized I wasn't actually attached to that stuff. I just thought I was. And here's the kicker. I've made over £10,000 doing that, haven't I? Like, I'm selling stuff on eBay around the house. I've got over an extra £10,000 to take with me. And what's the alternative if I didn't take it? I'd have to ship it, which costs more. And every single thing you own, and this is what I found, is a little bit of mental energy. You know it's there. It's a bit of visual clutter. It's something that needs to be maintained. It's something you got to take or pack or move. It just adds up over time. And sometimes I found with less stuff around me, it's like freedom, especially with extra money in the bank accounts. That's something that's really useful to have anyway.
I think it depends on the situation, but in our case, I don't think that things that we sold, we now regret.
Except one.
Your
And I
Volvo.
really couldn't come with us, and that's the Volvo. Like, honestly, like, I cried when the car went. I didn't know. That's the only item that like literally hurts to get rid of. And it's the only one I still want back.
Yeah, and I know that you keep saying when we move to the US, you would like to get, I know that you did some research, you found a better version of it, which you would like to get.
Well, I think this is like a psychological game that you play with yourself. You say that, and here's like why I did, if, for example, with the Volvo, was saying that if I sold the car, what I'm going to do when I get to the States is buy a nicer version of it. Now, when I actually get there, will I? That's another question. But in the moment when you're about to part with something, make that decision if it's hard to say, like, I'm going to buy a nice one. I'm going to replace the one in there with something else that's better. So you get that excitement of thinking, I want to buy that, you know. And that really does make it easier, I found, to part with stuff. The thing is, you may forget about something, like I said, in a week or two time, and then be like, I don't actually want to replace it this time. I'm perfectly happy without it. But if by the time you get there and that's still there, well, just accept the promise you made yourself and buy it at that point. I think that proves it was worth it, and you'll know that you really do appreciate that better version of it even more once you have it when your new life starts.
I don't think that our viewers will be surprised to see you with another Volvo.
I wouldn't be surprised if I see myself with a Volvo. Yeah, that's you know, that's to me has been the one of that makes me overcome to go like, yeah, you know, I'll just get another one. Unless it's something completely irreplaceable, like say like by my granddad's watch here, which obviously, even though I've got the same model of it, it's not his watch. Otherwise, you know, I feel like everything else is somewhat replaceable. So I think that's basically how we filtered it down. I mean, is there anything else we haven't spoke about, which we did?
One more thing that I wanted to say is, of course, as we are getting ready to move out from this house, we put all those things away into boxes and things. So even sentimental things that I put away, first of all, I'm getting used to not seeing them around. So when I see them in those boxes, I start doubting, because I think they also become sentimental when you see them around all the time, and they create this feeling of like this is your home.
Yeah.
So in that sense, if it's a good idea to take those things to move, because you take them with you to a different country and it makes you feel like home. But at the same time, I think if you put them away and then you forget about them and then you look back into those boxes and you don't really feel much about them, it may be a good idea to get rid of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's why the earlier you start the process, the better, because if you start it really late, it may feel like you need everything. Just my feeling.
I think so. I mean, we've been at this for a year. I mean, we could do it quicker, but we've just like had the heads up of doing this. So we just take it slow and take it thorough, and we're down to the kind of the last bits now. And let's not forget about giving stuff away to people as well. I mean, there's a hell of a lot we've given away to charity that can benefit someone else, you know, clothing and items that necessarily aren't stupidly valuable. I mean, we're not saying we're giving crap to charity, but there's certain stuff that it's better going to charity and keeping it. And honestly, I think there's somewhat of a rewarding feeling of just knowing that it's been repurposed for good for someone else and just giving away, and kind of allows you to, again, just breathe and feel.
I know. It was really nice when we were carrying. Do you remember my peacock feathers? It was when we were carrying them to the shop, and one lady who saw us carrying them, she's like, "Oh, are you giving them away?" I'm like, "Yes," and then she just took them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really nice, like, because I loved them, but they are not worth taking with me. So yeah, the fact that she took them was like, oh.
It's nice to know someone else appreciates
Yes.
it. It's easy to kind of give it away at that point. And yeah, I think that's a nice consequence as well. Yeah, I mean, I know it's obviously we're giving away stuff to charity out of a little bit of selfishness that we want to give away, but it's still also the same feeling that it still feels like you're doing something nice for a net good of something. So, you know, taking that positive feeling away is also something that's worth holding on to as well.
I also wanted to say that if there are things that you doubt or you need them but not urgently, and if you have friends or family around, you can leave them there, right? We are planning to leave some bits at your mom's place. Yes.
Yeah, and if in a year's time we don't care, we remember them, we can just say to my mum, you know what, just give that to the charity shop and get rid of that as well.
Yeah. And some things related to weather. I mean, obviously in Florida, I won't need some winter things that I wear here, but I would like to keep them here in case we come back and I need to wear them.
Yeah, I've tended to keep the most of the winter stuff in my mum's loft, and then summer clothes is what's coming over to Florida with us.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's everything we need to discuss about packing stuff, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So with all our minds, I hope we give you a couple of ideas of ways to ship things and how to filter things out as well.
Oh, wait, one more thing I wanted to say. Those plastic bags that you have where you put things in a compressed way, clothes and...
Well, yeah, that's a useful one. Yeah, if you're actually doing like putting clothes in the boxes containers, get those like vacuum bags to just get suck them into very small sizes. So you have to get a lot of stuff in one of those boxes as well. I'll make a link to them as well, which you can buy off Amazon. They're not that expensive and super easy to use. So they're definitely worth using to maximize the amount of space you have in the containers.
Yeah, that's why I decided to take my huggy cat with me.
Your cat, let's hope it doesn't suffocate. Yeah. Yeah. Well, with all our minds, thank you all for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.